been playing a lot of Priest recently on the standard mode ladder. I've been playing Zetalot's Mind Blast Priest. It's been a lot of fun. The key feature of the deck, of course, is the Mind Blasts, which you can combo with Prophet Velen. The Gargoyle gives you a coin, so you can fit in Velen plus 2 Mind Blasts in one turn. And they never see it coming. It's certainty of death. That's what I like to call it. Guaranteed damage, where if you have them low enough, they are just dead, because those Mind Blasts are all going face. And there are situations where, let's say you have a Malygos on board, discovered from Netherspite Historian. 20 damage, never see it coming.
You are finished.
Yes, you are finished, says Malygos. And as much as I've enjoyed this deck, because of the certainty of the damage, I thought to myself, okay, I've done well with it on standard. It's time for a change. It's time to play something a bit more uncertain. And that's why we're playing Awedragon's Wild Tempo Mage, so switching to Wild mode. Now, if you guys have looked at Mage decks recently, you've seen Secrets Mage, you've seen Burn Mage, those decks will play a multitude of secrets, including explosive runes. They'll play the likes of Cabal Crystal Runner that gets cheaper when you play your secrets, and lots of burn, go face, win the game. Now, this deck is different. There's no Crystal Runners. There's a limited selection of secrets, no explosive runes, for example, and what you're relying on is Flamewaker RNG. There are 2 Flamewakers in the deck. There are some cheap spells. Primordial Glyph can help you discover more cheap spells. Aloneth can refill your hand. So with Flamewakers, you're hoping to get lethal, depending on the situation, of course. I mean, the Flamewaker RNG can work in your favour where it clears minions from a board, and maybe that's what you need in a given situation. In another situation, you know, the juggles from the Flamewaker can go face, and maybe that's what you need to win. So, you know, Flamewakers are certainly, it's a fun card to play, but you have to be very, very lucky. So, another interesting card in this deck is the Frost Nova. Why is that in the deck? It can't go face. It doesn't do direct damage to the face. Why are we playing it? Well, it's simple. It can win games. If you have Flamewakers on board, a Frost Nova can protect your Flamewakers for another turn, allowing you to then throw more damage to your opponent's face the following turn. So, it certainly does have its place in the deck. I guess one thing I miss in this deck would be something like the Emperor to help discount a hand. But is there room for the Emperor in this deck? I mean, we have Aloneth to refill hand. I mean, so if I was ever replacing a card in this deck, maybe I would take out Aloneth for 6 cost and replace it with the Emperor for 6. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Now, this was an interesting game against a rogue. Now, you know, our deck with Flamewakers can do a lot of damage. You often have to wait to group spells in your hand and then unleash them with the Flamewaker. And that often doesn't happen until somewhere between turn 6 and 10, or beyond turn 10. And so sometimes you can just get overrun by rogues that play 12-12 Van Cleefs. And what was really sad here was that there was nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing I could do. I could play Ice Block, but, you know, he's just going to whack my face with that 12-12. We don't run Polymorph. I don't have a Frostbolt in hand, so I can't stop the advance of that Van Cleef. It just means I'm dead. It just means I'm dead. He can cleanly pop the block next turn. There's really nothing I can do. I'm not surviving. So this is an instance of a game where you just get overrun. In the early stages, there's nothing you can do. Okay, let's look at another example of a game here. Going up against a Mage. Now, I've kept the 2 and the 3. I should have mulliganed more aggressively for a 1-drop. That seems to be a problem with my mindset. I see a 2, I see a 3, and I think, ooh, look, a curve. No, the way you win this game against a Mage Another mage is getting a 1-drop Mana Worm, and we were lucky enough to get it. Mana Worms can be game winners in their own right. They can be significantly aggressive in the early games. You just buff them up, and by the time they get removed, you've done a reasonable amount of damage,
Dead or alive.
and then you just finish your opponent off later with more spells. Now, this guy is playing Spellslinger. This is interesting. He's clearly more into RNG than I am. The question is, how do we get rid of his 3-4? Those stats are pretty decent.
Interesting.
And I'm just going to go with the Fireball here. It preserves my board. It allows my Mana Worm to do more damage to his face. And we have another Mana Worm in hand. So this is looking pretty good for us at this point in time.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
And Bran Bronzebeard, really interesting. I mean, he probably wants to combo Bran with the Spellslinger. But yeah, really interesting inclusion, Bran Bronzebeard. A really interesting deck that I'm facing here. Clearly, you know, we don't know what to expect. But look at the amount of damage that we've done. Oh gosh, he's playing Flamewaker as well. So this is a tempo mage with Spellslinger and Bran Bronzebeard. How interesting. We have to kill the Flamewaker. Absolutely have to kill it. The question is how. We have some spells in our hand. We have our own Flamewaker. But it's too early to play it. I mean, he played his Flamewaker purely for tempo. Now, we can take the Flame Geyser. I mean, it's going to do some damage. It's also very cheap. The question is, how do we want to kill his Flamewaker? I'm thinking that I'm going to have to trade. As tempting as it is to do damage to his face with my Mana Worm, we don't want to leave a Flamewaker on board. That has the potential to end very, very badly. Wow, and he plays Blizzard in his deck. So this is more of a mid-range tempo mage, a very sort of slow mid-range tempo mage. Interesting. So we're just getting all the damage in that we can. When you have a Flamewaker on board, I think you shouldn't be afraid to throw spells at your opponent's face, just cashing in damage while you can. Flame Strike, wow, Blizzard and Flame Strike in his deck. It was too slow. It was way too slow. But fancy facing a deck like that at rank 5. Okay, this next game, we're at rank 4. And this will be a real test. We're going up against a Warlock. And notice Aluneth in my hand there. This kind of a matchup, I think Aluneth is worth keeping. Let's see if we get a 2-drop. Okay, that's a 2-drop, but we're not playing it. We're going to preserve the health on our Mana Worm. We have some potentially explosive turns coming up ahead because we have Aluneth. So with Aluneth in hand, I guess there is a priority now to empty my hand. And I'm just going to cash damage in now. He's already at 20. I could have played the Ice Block. I could have saved my spell there, my burn, for a minion. But why bother? Just throw it face, see what happens.
From the void.
Of course, what we're afraid of is, oh god, yeah, Sacrificial Pact, also Dark Pact.
Darkness.
And that's annoying. Okay. Void Lord. How interesting. We don't run silence effects in this deck, so we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle to get through that. And now maybe I'm regretting having thrown my burn at his face. Maybe I should have saved it for getting through fat taunts like this. And I'm actually going to cash in the Mana Worm now. I'm afraid of Hellfire. Hellfire would blow apart my board and allow him to keep his Void Lord alive. So we trade the Mana Worm in. Okay, draw some cards. There's the Flamewaker. Medivh's Valet, no secret in play, really unfortunate. Guess we play the counterspell and we're going to trade. Why not? What am I stopping there? I'm stopping cube value, cube Dark Pact value. That's what I'm trying to stop there. But with all this trading happening, we're not doing damage to his face. That's really bad for us. So it's looking quite bleak for us. We have Aluneth on 6. So now at least we're guaranteed to draw burn. We're guaranteed to draw cards that could now impact the remainder of the game. What am I looking to do here? I'm looking to gather cards to combo with Flamewaker. And we need to think about the optimal turn for pulling off the Flamewaker, you know, comboed with my various spells. When should I do it? Okay, that's pretty good.
Your soul shall suffer.
He's not happy. We eliminated one Dark Pact there with Counterspell. Well, it's good. It's really good. Okay, he's forced to use a Spellstone. Heals him for 5. That's still pretty annoying. And if you're the Warlock now, you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm in a pretty good position. And he is. He's in a very good position. He has Doomguard on board. He has Taunts, protecting his face. So what is my best strategy here? Am I afraid of dying? There's a lot of damage on board, and obviously with a cube, he could kill off his Doomguard, summon a couple more Doomguards. Yeah, I need to be careful here. But I'm not giving up on my burn strategy. With the torches, I'm still feeling confident that I can gather enough burn you know, to burst his face down eventually. It's just that I've got to survive. Again, all this damage going to my face. He's ignoring the Mana Worm. And he's tapping. Wow, okay. I mean, he's at 20. Seems respectable. But I have a Flamewaker. And I have a Frost Nova. Okay, one hit to the face. The priority is face damage.
Excuse me.
Again, gonna throw 3 to the face. Puts him down. All the way down to 16. And I'm continuing to draw those cards. Maybe he's not feeling so safe now.
I will not betray.
Oh wow, it's Giantslock. And he's playing all the giants. Interesting. Very, very interesting. However, I have Ice Block in play. And now it's a now or never turn. Double Flamewaker. 6 mana left to play with. What do I want to prioritise in doing here? Glyph seems sensible because it's cheap. And look, we discover another Frost Nova. Snap pick. Three mana left to play with. I guess I just torch his face, right? Oh, another jump went to face. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Right away.
Because the chances are we're now going to draw it to Roaring Torch. We have a Fireball in hand. If he doesn't have any healing, then we're in a good spot. And I've just realised I could actually go face with the Mana Worm. Wasn't expecting it. because of the taunts. And this game is now over. Torch, Fireball, Frostbolt. Even if he heals, I think we can still kill him. I mean, was there actually a way for me to have found lethal on that previous turn? Had I thought more carefully about what spells I could have been using? Regardless, a win is a win. Yeah, that's a very satisfying win against Giantslock. So, Awedragon's Wild Tempo Mage. Really fun deck. Is it stronger than Burn Mage or Secrets Mage, you know, that runs Crystal Runners? I'm not sure. I think with Flamewaker, you know, obviously you're looking at RNG, and if RNG is your thing, if you have fun with RNG, then this is the deck for you. You can get overrun by aggro decks like aggro Dude Paladin, and I've lost 2 games with this deck to Dude Paladin. It's just, you know, they can overwhelm you with Call to Arms very early, and then really, even if you get a Mana Worm start with Scientist or Arcanologist, it's just not enough, and they just kill you quicker than you can kill them with your Flamewakers, because you have to wait quite a few turns before you can gather a Flamewaker and a whole host of cheap spells to play. And in the case of Dude Paladin, you may have to use your cheap spells, like your Arcane Missiles, early, just to clear board. But of course, they refill the board at an astonishingly fast pace, so there's really not much you can do. Now, at the start of the video, I alluded to the Emperor in this deck, and maybe replacing Aloneth with the Emperor. They both cost 6, and I thought about it, because gathering lots of cheap spells in your hand and giving them an Emperor discount means you can play more of those spells with your Flamewaker, and that means more fireworks. And probably a few months back, maybe a year ago, I'm sure I've published videos with Flamewaker and the Emperor, you know, in a deck together, and you know, it was an incredible amount of fun. And in those decks you tend to run Antonidas as well, because you can get a discount on Antonidas. It's pretty cool. So maybe that's something that I will look into exploring again in the near future. Let's see what the Witchwood expansion brings us, and let's see if it can bring any further joy to Tempo Mage. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We are eagerly anticipating the Witchwood expansion. If there are any specific competitive wild decks that you'd like to see me play based on the Witchwood expansion, maybe you guys have been theory crafting some wild decks. If you've got ideas, then by all means, you know, please post comments in the comments section below if you've got deck codes and whatnot, and then I'll see what I can do once the expansion is released. So thanks again for joining me, and I will see you guys all again very soon for more Wild Mode fun.